Alright, so Tri-Cities. Basically, I told people not to blackmail. And so, essentially, some military guys knew that people were basically, they just would act like they weren't blackmailing people. And then people behind the scenes would be blackmailing these women all over Tri-Cities into having sex with Mormons and shit. And so then they sit there and are like, we don't see it that way. But the people that saw it knew. And so then what everybody's calling government gray is essentially where a new theoretical profile was created here. And that all of those stupid fucking Mormons that were doing that shit with the rest of these dumb Republicans around here and other people and sex freaks and shit like that. See, they were blackmailing women with groups behind the scenes into being essentially raped. So, the solution, since everybody builds some inoculation, since every cop refuses to investigate anything, was to basically recreate a profile terminal that forces all of them to have monogamous sex with their own fucking wife. So, the whole idea is that a bunch of those people can't get hard-ons because they're all crazy pedo bangers and sex freaks and shit. One of the things that one of the military guys knew that they would get boners at their blatant live broadcasted on dark web pedo bang, and that there would be somebody there doing what's called the insta bang talk, okay? So a military guy had the idea for me to be yelling into the computer so that the military guy could record the insta bang talk, right? And that then they essentially would pipe it in to these sex freaks when they were next to their own wife, and that then they would get a boner, and then they would have sex with their wife, and then they would lock that in as their fetish. And that then makes it to where their only fetish that they can do is monogamous sex. So they got these profiles. And then there was other people that weren't a part of that had a separate cucking with pagan. And that is their fetish or whatever. But that they're probably going to start to have issues because they're using those to hide pedophile molesting videos of themselves. See, if they would have just done cucking with pedo, or cucking with pagan, without running over and touching a little boy's penis, then that profile would stay secure. But since you people are uploading illegal stuff in it, that is where all of that stuff, what they call government gray, has to be lawful. And so, since all of you, pretty much everything that you guys do in them, like when you guys torture people in speakers, that's illegal. That is a recorded, like, it's like a blackmail or something, and that it gets documented in a theoretical way in that profile of you guys accessing people's speakers and sound torturing them, even in a leasty way. Even in the leasty way. So, if you guys thought that your guys' super government secret cucking and pedo codes shit through victims of SRA and shit, if you guys thought that your guys' little agency code would ever be allowable, you people are building the reasons to be breaking down those profiles that you guys keep all of your guys' illegal shit in. So if you guys are having issues with your go-to cucking and pegging stuff, it's probably because you guys are sitting behind the scenes in that profile, breaking laws. This is what I talk about. Just because you guys think it's secret to be a creepy back on somebody and to be placing sound in their speaker, and then you guys didn't think anybody would know about it. Just like when you guys were acting like you guys were just having hookup sex, and then these women were sitting around being blackmailed, and you guys didn't see it that way. There is real people that know exactly what you guys are doing. And that if you guys are going to group so many groups of little psychotic little fucking pedophiles in one fucking profile, then if they can't be controlled with their little sounds, then that's what's breaking down your guys' stuff. See, just because you little pissy little pedophiles don't like somebody talking about your guys' little government grant stuff, and since you guys think that you guys can just go around and violate people's fucking privacy and stuff, people know what you guys do. Because you guys have already done that. And people are sitting there seeing it all over the world. So just because you guys didn't comprehend the secret code of straight talk from a man, that's not anybody else's problem. See, the secret code, if you guys want to get technical, is for the wizard to speak man straight talk at all of you. And that's the secret code of you guys' little came and pet it bang. So, since you guys like to reach out and act like little weird sociopaths and think that nobody knows, and then you guys have whole worlds of people that know, and then you guys sit around thinking that nobody knows, and then you guys have whole secret code worlds that know. There's also other people in the world that understand what secret codes are. And so just because you guys thought that your internal little network of stupid little fucking pedophiles and all of your guys' little secret codes and reach outs and little sound association groups and all that, building some sort of pedo-bang code of you guys' little secret cute animals and stuff. People know that you guys are breaking laws. You guys are broadcasting yourselves, reaching out and placing sound into somebody's speaker. That is illegal. These government grays are meant for everybody to be following laws. And so just because you guys thought that you guys were so clever to know about secret little sound access hacks to speakers and stuff and little buttons and shit, you guys sit behind your guys' secret veil with millions of people seeing what you guys are reaching out and blatantly being psycho about. When you guys broadcast, like, look at him, I could get my sound in his speaker and nobody knows about it, and then you guys broadcast it. How did they figure it out? So, the moment that you guys placed a pedo touch in any of those profiles is the moment that a whole broadcast world was created. If you're gay, that's legal. If you're orgying, that's legal. If you're cheating on your husband or wife or something, that's legal. If you're doing weird cucking with pagans and shit, that's legal. If you guys are eating like vaginas on their period and stuff, that, you know, that's legal. But if you guys are placing sound and torturing somebody, even one fucking sound, if you guys are torturing people in speakers, that is illegal. That ruins. You gotta let go. And then everybody sees the secret behind the veil. So, since you guys pretty much aren't smart enough to understand how to do anything, since you guys all sat around making everybody your bitch about everything in life, none of you really comprehend that, yeah, what happens when you force other people to do things? You force other people to do things and not comprehend any of that stuff, huh? Let me show you. Let me show you what comes of that. See, it's where you all sat around during Donald Trump pedo bang, forcing other people to do things. And look at what they created out of that. When you all force people to do things that none of you comprehend, look at how they blatantly created a whole system that none of you comprehended. And since you guys tried to force people, look at what they made of that. Right in front of your guys' approval fucking pedo face. See what happens when you sit around making everybody a bitch? Since you guys have like the lowest intellects ever in the world. Just remember that even this was created. See, I don't place any sound in anybody's speaker. You people hack my stuff, and then you all start listening to it. You all are subjecting yourselves to the hack on the microphone shit. I do not go around clicking on your guys' speakers. I do not go around placing any audios in your guys' speakers. So, in these monogamy profiles, fuck your own wife and don't place any audios in anybody's speaker. This is called following the man. I know that this concept is too difficult for Pedo Bang Man. I know that he sits there relentlessly refusing to accept somebody being a man over him. But that doesn't change anything. Nobody gives a fuck what somebody's little whiny bitch explanation is. There's rules. Those rules were followed, and that you people will have to adhere to those. And just because he's an ex-president or some sort of senator, that shit doesn't mean shit. These are worldwide dark webs. Worldwide dark webs that have people following the rules that was determined worldwide. In Europe, people that have this theoretical kind of profile, they have sex with their own wife, and they don't click on anybody's speaker doing ART sound association shit. Those are the rules. So, just because you guys hacked in your guys' little side AI that boosts in all of your guys' Nazi and Chinese and Russian and terrorist apps into it, that doesn't make any difference. Just because you guys can do something in it doesn't make any difference. And I'll tell you what this should have. Essentially, it should have iPad apps. That's it. Basically, they're like copies. It's meant in ways to just be an extra cybersecurity. Think about it like this. You get an iPad. Apple shoves in their app. The apps that come with it, basically. And then this one shoves in the same coding from the other side and keeps your iPad being like authentic, basically. And so that is all the apps that should ever be in the profile itself. It's like an iCloud, but it's an iPad. And it's meant to link to the iPad. And it's meant to keep the apps the same as what Apple puts on the iPad. And that in ways it was meant for which to basically be using the keyboard with an iPad, to be using Pages, to be typing articles without having misogynists be erasing her shit. Because that's a problem in the lesbian feminist world. And then, if that project ever gets finalized, then it was made for the lesbian feminist world, for them to essentially have something that they could type on without people fucking it up all fucking day. And for the feminist magazines and shit. And that is where it's a lot easier to do this stuff for an iPad because it's iOS. It's made for virtualization. And so that is where essentially it's a little more difficult. You know, Apple essentially does a similar thing with MacBooks and iMacs, but they do that internally, and I'm sure that is probably still an issue that they probably still have a problem with. But at the very least, the iOS path for people that are getting this hacker problem from misogynists is the project that Apple is doing. And it's meant for them to at least have a word processor that doesn't get everything changed, that doesn't have people shoving in pictures of of their orgies and lesbianness and stuff. I mean that's or them like getting mastered and stuff like that. See, when they attempt to print or when they attempt to place it in the copy and paste coding, all that stuff, it gets manipulated by all these hacker misogynists. And then when it like goes into whatever their like website shit is, then their article ends up having like them doing a leso orgy or something, basically. And so then that's where that article can't make its way onto their web page without having the fucking pictures or video sometimes. And so this is the theoretical fast track. I mean, like this iPad. It's like $300, $350, and then you know they probably have to get the good keyboard for it or something. And then that's essentially it's made for that, you know, and then it's essentially made for you're gonna have to get the Apple Pencil also. And then it's made to take notes with and stuff and not be having people fuck with it and shit. And so it's kind of made for journalism, but it's focused on this stuff with the journalists. They were doing that stuff at this bitch magazine in Portland and at Miss. It's like anytime you see the like Facebook, you know, they kind of have like they have a group or whatever. See, some articles end up having a video or a picture in place of the article's picture. And so then they have to take that off. And this is how they're like controlling the flow of all the feminist articles that aren't approved by misogyny and shit. And just remember, a gay dude is CEO of Apple. And that kind of filthy fucked up shit, that stuff, he won't put up with that type of fucking shit. Yeah, most of those chicks are probably gay. And most of those people are probably gay at those feminist magazines. And that gays have like an internal gang. You mess with one burrito, you get all of them or something, and that type of stuff. So just remember that, you know, the CEO of one of the world's most top companies is probably a feminist. And so that is the kind of stuff that when it comes to this stuff that I've been talking about, this is the kind of shit that he'll wonder and want these feminist magazines to be talking and to be reporting and stuff about this stuff. And that then, more than likely, he would have seen behind the scenes why that stuff wasn't segueing. See, it's like even getting it to the printer format at their publishing house or whatever, even getting the data to that, it like forces of virtualization of their nudity and stuff like that. See that shit. And so this is where most of these people just may not realize that it's meant to at least give them an avenue of typing. Well, and then the pages has an ability to be going to the printer, and it has um, a page format ability and stuff, and that is where it's a very simple program, so it's a lot easier to harden code in these ways. And I know most people probably use whatever the publishing house's word processor is, and that is kind of the problem. But Pages does have an ability of that file transferring over authentically into a format that would be printable in the publishing house. And so this is like where people are getting their books ripped off, people are getting their articles ripped off, people are getting people fucking with it. People are putting things that prevent its publishing and shit. And so it's essentially where, this type of stuff is there's going to be a massive amount of effort put in to preventing you people from silencing free speech and shit. And free press. And artful, like, books and magazines and all this shit. See, all it takes is for, like, somebody to not like Banksy or something. And that they could pretty much prevent maybe his whole ability of showing some of his new art out of his website or something. Just for not liking it. You see, you project pedo bang tossers. So many years of your guys' team run pedo banging has pretty much forced the whole world into finding every single way to prevent your guys' control over information. You know what? What can't you prevent with me right now? What's wrong, pedo bang tossers? Is your guys' project? Is it not supported in the project system? Am I talking about the project?